That one just got today, so that
A new one?
Yep.
So we can take out the old one?
item number 15 is what it's for.
That wasn't in here, in other words, it's
No,
just.
it
It
wasn't.
was,
Oh, it wasn't?
I swear.
just got it today.
Are you sure?
We had a copy, we wanted to have more discussion,
Oh,
just in case
okay.
we got this today. Yep, it basically changes what you have there.
I think what they said is it changes the 10 days to 48 hours.
And 8 inches.
It inches.
Yep.
So I think-
Oh, might as well.
Oh. Oh, right here.
No, it was.
8 and 48, and it's 10 inches in 10 days.
Mine does.
For buildings.
Yeah.
Big change.
The other set, that was right. Scoop. I was not expecting that. I was proving that.
Yeah, no, it's great.
June 13, 2022, 6:30 p.m. Chapter Transit. Call to order. Morgan. Here. Dolly.
Here.
Kirkpatrick.
Here.
Renslow.
Here,
Kavah.
Here.
Agenda approval, consent agenda, approval of minutes of 5/5/2022, and special joint meeting of 5/12/2022. Approval of financial statements as of 5/31/2022. Approval of bills as presented, approval of liquor license Johnny Tap Outdoors Good Egg Days, approval of liquor license Village LLC.
so moved.
Moved by Renslow,
Second.
second by Morgan. How do you vote? Morgan?
Yeah.
Dolly?
I don't know if you have to.
Should I abstain from that?
I think you
Oh,
probably abstain.
Okay. Kirkpatrick?
Yes.
Renslow?
Yes,
Kavah?
Yes.
Thanks, Brady.
Tim, if you, he had to abstain because his wife owns still here, if that's what you were kind of wondering.
No, I was cracking my neck, sorry.
Okay, 4, I was gonna talk King property. I've got some pictures here I took of it. And it's a big nuisance. A lot of semi drivers are going out there throwing trash. The garbage cans are real heavy. And I'd like to see if we can get a move here inside to do something. Can you tell me your opinion, Jason, on what we can do?
Yeah, and
And
I like the idea.
You got pictures of it, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Can you come up to my, please?
Jason Reynolds, I always go to Portsmouth and PK, of course. So yes, you do have a nuisance out there with the transient trucker population pulling in there overnight parking or just, whatever kind of parking. And then the distribution of trash out there. It's been going on for quite a long time. And the trash dumpsters, garbage cans out there, it's tricky. You're on private property. You're absolutely on private property. And we talked about doing some barricading off. And I made the request that before the city spends the money for Jersey barriers to block that off and place those on city property, you definitely would want to have legal guidance to do that, to go that route. Did you reach out to the city attorney about that?
Not yet.
You haven't. That would be a plausible thing, to just go ahead and eliminate the problem. Therefore, you wouldn't have any trash to deal with. And the other side of it is, if you continue to put trash containers and dumpsters out there, you're signing yourself up for a lot more
Well,
expense.
that's the trash containers they left, but behind the fence, numerous containers, trash been there for
Yeah.
a few years.
But even those aren't getting serviced, so there's nothing.
We'll talk to the city attorney, see if we can block it off, but as a nuisance, can we go in there just like everybody else?
Exactly. That's what I was going to tell you, is that let's not reinvent the wheel here. We'll just treat them as any other property.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Max can send
Exactly.
notice.
Exactly. I mean, you guys agree. I mean, I assume you would agree with that. Just treat them like any
And
other
we're gonna
property.
pass an ordinance, so it's gonna be 5 days, 5 days, 5 days
Yes,
now instead of the 10 days.
I agree. That's a good system to go with.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds
Thank
good.
Agreed?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, ash trees, I want Jim to come up and give a presentation.
Okay, the ash tree issue hasn't changed in the last 2 months, and I gave you the last one. We did an inventory, there's 197 ash trees in the right of way, including the sports complex, that will have to be removed, on a schedule. All of our streets are not the same width, so there's different right of way distances. So some of the trees that people may think are in the right of way are not, just because of the width of the street, reflects the right of way distance. So City Hall has a list of all of the affected trees. We class them within poor, fair, and good. The poor ones we're working on first, of course. So if anyone is in question on whether their tree is in city right of way or not, they can consult City Hall. They have a list, and if there's still a question, we will be happy to look at it and tell them, yeah, it is or no, it isn't, where they are on the list. But the condition of the tree will dictate the priority. I mean, that's just, we've got a couple that have to come out while we're removing them out of the city park right now before the big days, so.
Is there any way on the ones that are like super bad, like the one on the corner of Fifth and Division, that we can get some bids to start taking a few of those out little by little?
We can, but you guys decide where the funding's gonna come from. Because it's definitely not in my budget.
What's the, maybe you don't know this, what is the timetable to get, which is 190?
197 trees, I mean, we could be looking at 3 years.
Okay.
Depending on the condition of them. Wintertime works better, I mean, because summertime, we've got everything else on top of it. Wintertime, we've got snow plowing to do, and if we have a winter like we had last, we took 32 of them out in the sports complex already. We've got 28 more to go over there.
So can you get us a list of the ones that we would have to
To bid
bid
out.
out, so we can
We can look
kind
at
of
it.
start looking at what that cost is gonna, and try to come up with maybe how we're gonna pay for it, but
And they'll
like
be,
that one on Fifth and Division, I mean, that one's got.
and that one's been that way for a while.
It has.
That is not an ash tree, by the way.
No, but it's dead, it's
Yeah,
dead
it is
to me,
dead.
so,
Maybe like the very worst ones,
yeah,
and that'll buy the city guys some time.
but the ones that we have to contract out, we can
Sure.
at least see what we're
Because that will be
looking
a
at
bid,
for a
that will be a bid
price.
process. So.
And that's just because we just don't have the capabilities to do it, right?
Right, some of those are sizable beyond our scope.
Yep.
Correct.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thanks,
Thanks,
Jim.
Jim.
And I'd like the paper and the radio to make sure that they have this information out to general public. That Jim just said, plus can the city put it on the website? So-
He has
so that,
He's had some done.
Waukesha.
Okay. Any other on the ash trees? Okay. 2022 manhole rehabilitation project.
We did hold the public hearing, of course, if you like.
So I showed up last Wednesday for the open bids for the manhole repair project, and we did not receive any bids. And we talked to the contractors that were, usually do this work and actually taking plans out. And the feedback we received was that they're booked up for this year. And they'd be happy to look at it, but it needs to be next year's project. So we still want to have a public hearing. I think we still want to open the public hearing, see if there's any comments, close the public hearing.
Okay, at this time, open the public hearing. Did you receive anything? Any comments, concerns? Close.
I just want a question, so, we're just gonna hold those funds
Well,
from, or what are we doing? What are we gonna do?
I talked to Forrest and maybe we can, do you mind if we rebid it?
Yes, we'll want to rebid. We'll still want to do the project. We'll want to rebid it for construction next year. The question I'll have for Ash is if you're wanting to get that done next year in the spring, so it's in next year's fiscal budget, or whether it can go into the summer, late summer of 2023, if that
No, we'll get
matters.
it in the spring, it'll be fine with me.
I guess my question was more of the COVID funds that we allocated.
The COVID fund stays there.
We're staying that, we're, so,
Yeah,
yeah,
that's-
let's make sure we do.
Yeah, and those funds will still be available next year as well. We have until 2024, I think,
Yeah.
to spend those.
We have until the end of 2024 to spend them. So we're good on the finance.
Ash, are you okay going past July 1 of next year
Yeah.
for the funding? Okay, so we'll probably rebid it. I would say we'll probably wait till later this fall, September, October. Then we'll go out to bid at that point, and then we'll take bids sometime later this year for the work to be done sometime in 2023.
If it's that far out, then would it make more sense to get bids sooner? Or does it, you think it'll matter?
No,
I mean, I just hate
part
for
of
them to stack up.
Part of it was it's the market's so volatile right now with prices on materials that looking at taking bids is not going to be constructed for another year. They're kind of reluctant to do it that soon. They'd rather see what happens this fall with pricing.
I just hate for us to wait and then get bids and no one can do it next year either.
Well, that's
We don't see that being a problem.
not if we just wait till September, October kind of thing.
Okay.
That should be soon enough next year.
Thanks.
Thanks, Forrest.
We
Time to
close
close the public
close the
hearing.
public hearing.
Okay, 6, Stuart Fire Department, Josh?
I came to you guys, I don't know, a couple months ago, finally got some prices back on trucks. You guys have them within your packet, I believe. I guess I'm not sure which way we go now. We want to do this. The one thing I do want to point out, I got an email from Chip, and he was estimating $50,000 per truck, where that should be more like $50,000 total. For the sale of the other two trucks. Now that could go way high, it could be a little lower, but within my report I sent to you late, I think the city would be looking around 240,000. I did talk to the one guy today, and he said all the 2023 trucks are spoken for, so this would be 2024, and you could have that $5,000 to $10,000 chassis increase. So you may be more around that 250 range with the truck for 361. And then I did bring, the only other bid we got was two different chassis, as you can see on there. One at 450 something, I believe. The one I brought tonight was the same chassis as the other bid. So that one's $422,300 for that truck through that department or builder. And that truck also is making a 18-inch cabinet. So for cabinet space and everything, I'd rather go with Toyn anyways. And they're $70,000 less. So,
Hey, Josh, I was gonna ask you, I might have missed this last time, but is this replacing trucks or trucks or what?
it'd be replacing 2 trucks.
Like service or?
No, they're still in service, but you only have so many years due to NFPA compliancy and all that stuff. Which the one truck, it's good for what we bought it for, but it can be classified as a pumper because it doesn't have over a 650 gallon a minute pump on it. So that can be certified. So we're running our crash truck with, we can spray water, but it can't really be certified. The other truck is a 1992. I think Jake Schwartzkopf was key in getting that truck. So, I mean, it's been here quite a while.
Careful.
So are these trucks still decent enough because this one's like 445 days out?
Yeah, so
they're still gonna last you guys, all right?
yeah,
Okay.
the future, and the prices are only going to, as we know. So, I guess if you have any other questions on this, I know the Toyn is only good for a little longer for a price, and then this price is actually about $15,000 higher than the last one I presented to you guys, just because we've had to wait 3 months.
And this one truck for 360.
Yep.
That can fluctuate maybe $10,000 or
So-
more for the chassis increase.
The way I talked to the builder today is if we go with that truck, they have 2 hose reels on each side of the truck. You take one of those off, that could be a $4,000 to $5,000 deduction. So we may still be able to keep it around that 360 with a few deductions out of this, but I really don't want to take away too much.
Yeah.
The driver's side reel hose line, I'm perfectly fine with taking away because most of the time we're working off the passenger side on the interstate. Or this truck here also has capability for pump and go. It has its own separate pump. So we could be driving down the road and still pumping water. So ditch fires and stuff like that, it's still useful as well.
Was Chip gonna get back to us? Making this work?
Yeah, we can, I think tonight you wanna give him where he's at right now. You wanna make a decision, you can, you wanna wait the
Do
next.
you need a motion so we can move forward
I
to
do
sign
want-
contracts?
I mean, the sooner we can sign the contracts, the more money we're gonna save. Even if we wait a month, it could be another $10,000.
Well, you can decide tonight which direction you wanna take.
And I mean, I do want to point out there, I'm not coming to ask for the whole thing. The fire department is putting $70,000 towards this vehicle, so I've saved money.
How much money do you need to put down for them to walk this, not really walk it in, but, to start the process?
There was a down payment. Pull my email quick enough for you guys. It was like 30% maybe, and then the remaining funds due upon delivery. So,
It's like $100,000.
yeah.
But if
it's
they're
like-
paying
I wanna say
70,
it
they
was
have
like
their
112.
70 in there, so really it would only be
Well, if
roughly
they're-
30 from us.
Right, if they're wanting to double,
And then
Yeah,
also
Because
one
they
thing,
train that whole thing.
well, but they are spending 70, right? Is that what you said? Add your
yeah,
savings.
yeah, and then the sale of our other 2 trucks, once we take delivery of this truck, would go back in wherever Ash puts it to replenish that fund, wherever the money comes from. So, I mean, it could be another $50,000, just depending on who wants that truck and how bad.
But if we made a motion tonight, we're just gonna we're making the motion for you to sign and be committed with it. And then the details of the finance, how down payment, all the stuff will work out in July.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah,
How
I
big
wouldn't-
was that?
Wouldn't he have to put down the 30%?
yeah, I don't, I'm not.
When he signs that contract?
I've never done it this way before, that's why I'm saying, we'll talk to them and see really what the process is. Because, we have to get the chip on the finance, and it's gonna be the council too. I'm sure they will work with us.
If
We just need.
If he signs the contract, well, him and you and whoever else,
Yeah, I
aren't they
really-
gonna have to give us a set, like, numbers? Like, we're ready to sign the contract, this is our definite number.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, we need to work with them on the finance, because you need to give us numbers and.
So this 360, 863 is the number for right now. They will not know about the chassis until the chassis start coming out.
And that's what I'm calling for is, we make a motion, we approve that 362 to kind of give him that word of the council that we're going this way.
Ju-
And then we're asking to give us the final numbers and all this stuff.
Terms of payment, I guess, is on there, maybe. All apparatus shall be paid net upon delivery and acceptance.
I'm also seeing that this, the date on this was over 30 days ago, or, right at
Yeah, so
30 days or just over 30 days, so.
I talked to him today, they said to still go with that price.
Yeah, they can give us, they good with that. That down payment, I never really considered that. Because we have to secure our finance.
He just can't guarantee this price at the end of the week.
But I
No,
don't- I don't
what-
see
if
a
we
document
make a
where it says
motion,
terms of
we
payment
tell them
that
to
it
move,
says
that
that
the
we have to
council
put a down
approve.
payment down.
That direction. And then we get the details from them.
At one point, I didn't know if you went out and bought the whole chassis, you'd save 3 to 5%. Because if they go out and buy that chassis, they're gonna charge you interest on it. So I think it equated to like $6,000. So, and this truck here, the chassis itself's 10 to 12 months out. That's with the Freightliner chassis. If you went international, you're 20 to 22 months out. So.
I guess if you want the council to make a decision tonight, tomorrow we'll go ahead and talk to them and tell them, okay, the city council approved to go that direction. And then we'll get from them all the details of the actual numbers and all the stuff, so we can get Chip going on it. The down payment, all the stuff can come with the details.
Well, yeah, if the council gives me
That's what
the
I'm
approval
saying.
tonight, then you and I can work with him to
Yeah,
go that route.
So it just seems a little backwards to approve it and then work on financing.
oh, wait until.
You know.
It's like,
But I totally agree. We
I
both
mean,
know.
we could come back in a month and you may be $10,000 higher.
Can we make the motion to approve the truck at 360, 863, and then amend it if we have to, if it comes back a little higher, but we at least have a set number?
You can if you want. Yeah, I don't see a problem with it.
So just,
I think what he's trying to do is to give the guy that some sort of commitment. I think that's what all the people wants on the other side. Yeah, we're gonna go that direction. And then we work on the details of what the final.
So devil's advocate here, Ash, let's say we did this, which it's a good thing, and then we run this through Chip, he says we can't do it.
Yeah, that's completely different. because-
But you got, I mean, I understand it, but you got to think.
Yeah,
So we can-
you can also-
So then we have to make a motion like contingent.
Contingent into the financial advisory.
I personally contract on a contingency either. I mean, I could see both sides where you guys want, I don't want the city to get in trouble, but then again, I don't want to have to spend an extra $10,000 if you know, I'm kind of on a teetering point there.
Ash, do you see any reason why Chip wouldn't be able to do this?
I don't see any reason for him.
I mean, you know our finance buddy.
Yeah, I don't see any reason for him to say no unless something that I'm not aware.
How soon will
Because-
Chip get an answer?
Yeah, but then,
How soon will Chip know, or how soon will we hear?
as soon as we get these numbers to him.
I mean, I thought he was already working on this, I don't know why.
He has been.
I was gonna say, what if we table this for a week or two? We still have time, right?
No, you're saying end of the week, right?
Prices changed yesterday. They're honoring this price.
So I don't know, I don't, we're replacing the old, the existing loan that is gonna be paid, or it's already paid off now. I just made the last payment. So we're replacing that with this.
So there
The
shouldn't be any issue.
finance is kinda, yeah, it's not really.
You can correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe our 2013 Spartan pumper had a 10-year loan on it.
Yeah.
And so being the end of 2022 or mid,
I just made the
you
last
know,
payment.
so that should have been paid off there. You know, that was roughly, it was a little less than what this payment is, I believe, but,
Right, if I remember right, this affects like taxes, like almost nothing, right, the change
Right.
Yeah,
that I can
yeah,
change.
there will be, our current payment now is about 28,000 a year. This one will be a little bit higher, but not by far. you know.
and if I'm not mistaken, Ash, you can correct me again. The email we got from Chip was on a 5 or 7 year term.
Yeah.
Versus a 10-year term as well.
So it's a little less.
So if we stretched it out a 10-year term, if we
Yeah,
needed to.
it can be the same.
I don't know if you
Yes,
can, but,
yes, absolutely.
you know.
We can work it the way to just match the same payment we have. If that's the direction that you want as a council, yeah, that's fine.
you know, because in 10 years, our mainline pumper
Yes.
will be 20 years old, just like we're dealing with now. So
Yes.
we're gonna be looking at the same situation.
Yeah, I would say go for it. We'll be just fine, you know, unless something that I'm not really happy that I can't be there.
So, and I understand that premise of everything that you said, I think best practices is to get that done prior to, prior to having to vote on something, so we absolutely know for sure.
Yeah.
On that, but I understand just
Sure.
replacing.
Here's an idea. I don't know if it's possible. Could it be contingent on a few days? I mean, would Chip be able to do that within a couple, 3 days? Maybe by the end of the week, get a definite answer that he can do it, and as long as we can do it, then, you know, we're good to go, and if we can't, then it's.
And all I'm saying, Josh, is that I understand what Ash is saying, is replacing the old payment with this new payment. My point is that best practice is to do it, have the information first. If you guys are comfortable, I would be too, but I'd like to see us start to do it. You know, and if we need answers from Chip, is to get those first and then make decisions.
Mr. Mayor, can I make a motion?
Yeah.
Can I make a motion to go ahead and allow the fire department and Ash to proceed into signing the contract with Toyne for $360,863 with the fire department, paying $70,000 of that. And then whatever after they receive purchase, and then the money from the other 2 trucks coming back and applying that.
I have a motion, do we have a second?
I mean, we've done it with the ambulance, we've done it with the cop cars, I don't know why it's any different now.
Who seconded it? Mike, okay, moved in second, so how do you vote, Morgan?
It's a little too early. I'm gonna say no. I'm not against the truck. It is, I
Okay.
don't like it.
Okay, Dolly,
Yes.
Kirkpatrick,
Yeah,
Renslow,
Yes,
Cobal.
Yes.
I got a quick question, Josh. When you went out Saturday with fire trucks, I know you charge for fires, but do you charge for all what happens out on the interstate, directing traffic and everything? You bill that?
That bill, quick figured, in the truck was roughly $4,500.
Okay.
So whether we collect that,
Yeah.
we don't know.
Go
I
through
mean,
the insurance.
you may collect a quarter of what you actually send out.
Okay,
A lot of insurances also are to the point where if you send them a $3,000 bill, they're only going to give you $500. That's all there is to it. But
okay.
the bill still gets sent out as long as the information is on there that I can send it out.
Okay, I'm just curious.
So,
Okay, thank you.
Josh,
what's that? Okay, thank you guys.
Okay,
Thank
you.
7, requested block 3, Ruby's Pub and Grill. We've got 2 different papers here.
we won't be able to be here before this.
Yeah, me too.
Beginning 6/17, 6/17, beginning.
Yeah, this isn't any different than,
Yeah.
Okay, we need a motion.
so moved.
Moved by Renzo, second by Morgan. How do you vote? Morgan? Yes. Dolly?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
Renzo?
Yes,
Bubba?
Yeah.
Okay, 8, we're tabling, Sue isn't here today. 9, Tim Young's proposal.
Thank you, Shani. How are y'all this evening?
Good, good, thank you.
Another day, another dollar. You'll have to, I was telling Christine earlier, you have to excuse my voice. I took a hockey puck to the throat yesterday, tournament, so. I come today, to try to pitch an adult co-ed softball league here in Stuart. And I did include some additional papers there, kind of a brief resume of my experience with organized sports. I'm not gonna go over it all right now, but I've been in organized sports since 2013 in Des Moines in the hockey leagues. I had 2 years as commissioner and I've captained teams for quite a while. I did send out my initial proposal, and really what I'm looking to do is get permission from the city to proceed with a co-ed softball league and have it run through legally through the city of Stuart. That's what they do in Adele. So I know the biggest thing is any injuries that will happen out there will be, of course, gonna be covered with a waiver to use the fields, but also be under the city's umbrella insurance. I talked with Nick Shank from Adele, and he said that's how they do it in Adele. He didn't mind us taking the rules and everything as far as the gameplay goes with the city.
Who's Nick?
Nick Shank,
Yeah, I don't know.
he's the organizer for Parks and Recreation in Adele, so he works for the city of Adele. So the idea of it is to have a draft league to kind of strengthen the community. I know some ideas that came forth as far as picking teams and just moving the entire team in, whereas my experience is when you have a draft league, it's better to kind of strengthen roots throughout the community, have people get to know each other that otherwise they wouldn't have known. And I think overall it would be beneficial just to the community, or to the community overall. So the entire, I guess, I'm trying to think here. The entirety of what I'm trying to put together is, it's really just based on just some organized sports, short season, 5 games. And I'm curious, has this ever been approached by anybody from the community?
They used to have a softball league all the time. The only difference is here, there's no beer. There used to be beer there, which I could see.
So to create a family-friendly environment, I don't think alcohol will be allowed on the premises. So,
That would be appropriate.
yeah, overall. So I guess the biggest thing, what I need today is backing from the city to kind of go ahead forth with this. I would like the city to, like I said, be the legal organizer as far as that goes. Handle the money that comes in through the league. I don't want to touch any money. Just clean it that way, And then I can help out with the budget. I know in my proposal, it's not much in a budget, $150 in softballs, and just use of electricity if, it gets laid out there. I did speak with Mason Hasty for a bit. He mentioned that there is a Parks and Rec fund. So I don't know if that's available for use in this.
Well, I don't know which Parks and Rec fund you refer to be honest.
Oh, well then maybe I was fed false information.
Okay, no, I'm not saying false or true, I don't know what you're referring to. And then we need to check with the insurance company to see if there is a possibility there. And you mentioned something about the utility.
Yeah, the utility, just use of electricity out there.
I think they need to be involved with that too.
Mhm.
So there's just a few steps we need to take
Sure.
in order for us to come back and decide, get the council to decide.
Sure, no,
Taking over because practically we're taking over the whole thing and you're gonna be helping us with, I don't know what.
so for next meeting, or before our next meeting, can he work with our wonderful economic developer?
Yeah,
Just and then touch base with utilities, and then we can get insurance information from Lauren Volts and kind of,
That's
Work our way
very
from
much,
there.
that's very much what needs to be done. You know, Matt, you working with Matt.
Sure.
We can help facilitate the communication with the utility and the insurance. And then come back to the council and find out what you need to vote on.
Right. Like I said, as far as price, the cost of the league, it wouldn't be terribly much at all, I don't think. And, you know, all funds would kind of follow the city, so.
And what you want to do with the phone, getting the phone, what do you want to do?
I don't know, like I said, I thought there was a Parks and Recs,
So we just take the fund and at the city's discretion.
Yeah.
Spend it the way we want. That's generous of you. That's okay.
well, yeah, I'm not looking to make any money on this.
right,
Well,
but
which is fine. I just want to make it
Expense
clear.
that
that
would
we
have-
go back into some sort of thing to kind of keep this going.
Yeah, exactly. Which is fine. That's good.
The lights or something,
Yeah.
or
yeah, no, it would help out at the old soccer complex.
softballs.
Yep, so, yeah, you'll have softballs and
Do
stuff
you
like
know how
that.
much money we have in the Parks and Rec?
He's really only asking for 100%.
5,000.
Yeah. No, I just want to get more information so save time when you work with Matt, you know. But just start work with Matt. Hopefully my next meeting will come and give him a final product. because
And
this
we'll have an
first
answer
time-
from Lauren,
What's that?
and we can have an answer from Lauren,
We also.
Yeah, Lauren is normal.
or not Lauren, I'm
Yeah, we'll
sorry.
get the answer, yeah.
The other person, I forget his name.
Joe Benz?
There you go.
Our next meeting lands on the day you wanna start though, right?
Yeah, these are just ideas, so everything, like I said, these are all floating dates, even if it
Okay.
starts late. The idea of this right now is to gain some steam, get it off the ground, play a mini season. Just a couple games, see how it goes, see if it's got a good taste in everybody's mouth, and then from there, we can have a full season next year.
Which I think is an
We'll
awesome
work with you,
idea.
Tim. Tim, we'll work with you and make things happen. I just need this information. I have to.
Oh, 100%, yeah, no, I understand that. Yeah, I will work with, I'm sorry, what was your name, son? Matt? Well, Tim, yeah. Yeah, I'll work with him, and then, yeah, is there anything that I need to do homework-wise to provide back to you guys?
No, just call us tomorrow and we'll start the whole process. Matt and I will do it.
Okay, awesome.
Thanks.
Well, thank you for
I
doing
appreciate
this.
it. Yeah,
That's gonna
absolutely.
be awesome.
Hey, Mayor,
Yeah.
can we back up? I know that Sue Forrest isn't here,
Yeah.
but if she wants to present, shouldn't that go to planning and zoning first? And then they recommend to us?
Planning and zoning and board of adjustment.
Yeah, I know we've been through this and it probably should go through them first before it
Yeah, I
comes
mean,
to
we
us.
don't have any control over it. That's what, if the city wants to reach out to her and say, you need to contact city and get
That's,
hold of.
that's what I'm asking, if we can go back and, can you ask her
City
to
and board of adjustment.
check with those two first
We'll do that.
for recommendation?
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Ken, Jim, Public Works Department, new hire.
Their time to charge.
Just FYI, I guess, that we have offered a full-time public works position to Stephen Martinson. We did interviews probably 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. Ash, Dick, myself, Corey. Out of the four, that was our pick. He's been offered the position. He's accepted. Starting date will be next Monday, the 20th. At $17 per hour with a $1 increase at the end of a 6-month probationary period.
You need a motion to approve that?
Yes.
So moved.
Moved by Renzo. Second by Morgan. How do you vote? Morgan?
Yep.
Dolly?
Yes.
Kirkpatrick?
Yes.
Renzo?
Yes.
Kavah?
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Code enforcement agreement. Jason?
At the last meeting, you folks had requested that we go back to the drawing board and come up with a better idea for getting information back to the council. Every nuisance now is getting an email with pictures, a brief description, and the forms were all changed immediately to having a phone number on there, just in case there's an issue. They can call into City Hall if they want to visit with Max. This is Max.
I'm Max.
Sarah goes ahead and puts that information together in an email, and then Max responds to that person right away. So, with that, this would bump you to 20 hours of code enforcement per month. Any questions?
We have increased monthly fees from 500 to 750, and tonight he is asking for the other 250 to make it 1,000.
And we just had a town cleanup and local business said, go around to these alleys, look how mattresses, box springs, they didn't use our town cleanup. And that's where people need to drive through the alleys and see what problem we have there.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have an ordinance here we're gonna pass tonight.
Yeah.
We're gonna go 5 days, 5 days, 5 days. It's gonna be a lot faster process. I talked to the attorney today and he said on a couple of them, the final notice is going out. And that's what they're.
It's gonna help out a lot.
It's gonna be a lot faster. So everything's legal, so if there's cars, junk, debris, we can just go in and take it, no questions asked, and go against their taxes or income offset.
That sounds great.
Can I ask that we have a list included in our packet again? We used to get a list of,
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, Nadine can do
but
that.
we haven't been getting them last few months, so if we could have a
Yeah,
list
we'll
of
get
just
it
the
for you.
pending properties.
Yes.
This 750 to 1,000
Yes.
Yes.
increases because we have more man hours.
More man hours. That gets you more man hours, correct?
And like I say, anybody drive through the alleys, you can see there's a constant problem going on. And I asked the council, if you see a problem, to get hold of City Hall and myself. I mean, the business owner the other day talked to me about it. I don't drive around town like I should, but Max knows he's gonna go. And I said, the main thing is go in the alley and take pictures.
Do we have a form online on our city website that somebody can fill out and like,
I don't know.
I have sent one to the city to do that.
can we ask that it get put on our city
I will make
website
sure
so
it's
that
on
way
there.
if somebody wants to submit
They
a
have
complaint
them up
form,
here,
they
but
have, I know, but it's,
Yeah.
some people don't have time to come up, like, I mean, I work in Des Moines, so you guys are open the whole time I'm in Des Moines, so if there's a form online, I can just zip right on and fill it out and it just submits.
a lot of people don't wanna be involved. That's the reason they call me and say,
I know.
will you check it out? And I said, no.
But if we don't have a signed complaint, you know, there's nothing we can do.
Yeah.
Thank you.
If it's okay with the council to increase it from 750 to 1,000.
I'll make that motion.
Okay. Moved by Renzo,
I'll second
second by Kirkpatrick. How do you vote? Morgan?
Yes.
Dolly?
Yes.
Kirkpatrick?
it. Yes.
Renzo?
Yes,
Kava?
Thank you.
Thanks, Jason.
Thanks,
Max.
guys.
Good luck.
thank you.
See you later.
you.
Well, resolution number 2219C, legal cigarette permit.
That's annual resolution of the S4.
6 of them.
Need a motion for that.
Are those permit fees pretty, like, the same for other towns? I mean, are we low? It seems awfully low to be able to sell cigarettes.
I think it's a state.
Is it a state fee? Okay. I was just curious.
We never got a application.
Not yet, they have till July 1st.
Oh, okay.
We better sell it anyway, just to get it over because.
Okay, moved by Morgan,
Second.
second by Dolly. How do you vote? Morgan? Yes. Dolly?
Yes.
Kirkpatrick?
Yes.
Renzo?
Yes,
Kava? Yes. 13, street improvement, asphalt overlay. Set the date, what's the date?
It is gonna be next regular meeting, July 11th.
And receive bids July 6th.
So they just make a presentation. Okay. We need a motion to set the date for July 11th for public hearing on the project.
And July 6th to receive bids.
I want to receive it.
I'll make that motion.
Moved by Kirkpatrick,
second.
second by Renzo. How do you vote? Morgan? Yes. Dolly?
Yes.
Kirkpatrick?
Yes.
Renzo?
Yes,
Kava?
Yes.
Go ahead.
But this is, there was a map in your packet, this is a little bit better. So this is to receive bids for, and have a public hearing on doing asphalt overlays around town. These streets were selected by Jim, and we're taking a base bid for those that are in red, yellow, and blue or alternate bids. Like we did called the contractors that do asphalt overlays and said, do we need to postpone this as well? Because we didn't receive any bids on the manholes. And they said, no, they have the work to still get it done yet this year. In fact, they discouraged us doing it next year because of the volatility in the oil market. And they have the bids, the prices kind of set right now. So we did talk to some contractors, make sure that I wasn't gonna make another trip and no bids, so that's all I have. This is just
Second first.
setting the bid dates.
We made a motion to set the date for here. Okay. Still good. Next.
Okay, 14 Safe Route to School project, set the date will be July 11th, so I need a motion. Moved by Morgan. Second by, come on, how do you vote? Morgan?
Yes.
Dolly?
Yeah.
Kirkpatrick?
Yes.
Renzo?
Yes.
Kavah?
Yes.
So these bids will be received through the Iowa Department of Transportation. This will not be a local bid letting. So we'll have this bids July 21st, whatever that Tuesday is. And then we'll have the bids and the public hearing at your July council meeting for the council's consideration.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, 15 mowing ordinance.
That's the ordinance that you have a copy here. We just got it from the lawyers today, 2203. We updated the ordinance that you had in the packet by having that 48-hour notice.
Because the way it was given a notice, wait 10 days, they might mow the yard, they might not. But so now we're going 48 hours, and we're gonna have 3 employees, and hopefully they can go in and mow right away the next day after the 48 hours is up.
So the only change on that was changing it from a 10-day to a 48-hour. Nothing else in the ordinance.
Is the height?
And the height
The
went
height.
from 10 inch to 8 inch.
Nadine kind of checked other towns what we was doing on that, and like I say, it'd be $151.07 and then $75 per hour. We've got a place in North Town that he's having to use a brush hog to clean all the time. It's a vacant property.
I think that property's being foreclosed on, so hopefully within the year it'll.
And like I say, most of these, they'll be against the tax their income offset, but I've had a few people now that were sending out the notices and they're starting to get the message and get them out.
Speaking of mowing and grass, is that the city's lot that is south of the cemetery, of the south side cemetery?
Yes, and that's agricultural, it's actually hay ground. We sold that ground, they gave it back to McAndrews mowed it. Jim went in with the brush hog, went around the fire hydrant and other places, I talked to Steve McAndrews, he's getting close to mowing it. And we've got the same situation, I believe, over near the care center and other places, is hay ground is what it is.
They're gonna bail it.
Yeah, that's what he's gonna do, he's gonna bale it. Yeah. And whatever he doesn't get with his mower, Jim will go in with the brush hog and the mower and clean it up and everything. So we need a motion if you wanna pass this.
So moved.
Moved by Renzo, we have a second?
Go ahead, Dave. I'll say.
Dave? By Dolly, okay. How do you vote, Morgan?
Yes.
Dolly?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
Renzo?
Yes.
Kavah?
Yes.
I need a motion for the second reading.
So moved.
Moved by Renzo. Second by Morgan, how do you vote? Morgan?
Yes.
Dolly? Patrick?
Yes.
Renzo?
Yes.
Kavah? I need a motion to waive the third and final. Moved by Morgan,
Second.
second by Renzo, how do you vote? Morgan?
Yes.
Dolly?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
Renzo?
Yes.
Kavah?
Yes.
And Mike, will you make sure this gets right to the tomorrow morning, so we can get it published in the paper? Okay, 16, ordinance number 2202C. This is the all-terrain one We had our lawyer go over this. I believe Panora, Dexter, and a lot of different towns have this ordinance. And it's gonna be $50, I think, to get registered through the city, and there's certain stipulations on here where you can ride and where you can't. And there is a section for agricultural use, which you're exempt anyway, just like Paul Piper brings his in. Agriculture farm use to be perfectly legal to do that.
And it added the golf carts, correct?
Yes.
Has some stipulations.
Yeah.
Stipulations, the same with snow.
Just for the record, this has been ongoing for what, 2 years?
Yeah.
We've been kind of back and forth trying to get our attorneys to finish this.
Yeah.
So
Our new attorney finally got it.
there was somebody out at the new housing development that could really use a golf cart, and that's kind of where this stemmed from, is to be able to help them out. So for 2 years, we've been trying to get this done, and now it's finally done.
And is there a stipulation every 18 years old?
I thought that, or a driver's license.
Yeah, okay.
So it's $50 per
Year,
machine, not per person.
correct,
Yes.
per machine, per
Gotta be
year.
registered as well, right?
Yeah.
Registered, yes, I can
$50
see
for the
this.
city for-
Working very well.
Right.
Now, are they gonna come to City Hall, fill out that, and get a sticker from them, or whatever, and then our officers are gonna be notified to make sure that we're checking for those? Because I have a feeling that we're gonna have a lot of people just think that they're gonna drive and
Does
just
it,
assume that
does
we're
it
gonna.
say, like you said, a sticker? Is that what you said?
I don't know what it is. I
Okay,
don't know.
well, I didn't know, I mean, I think that's a great idea, and hopefully there's, if that is a requirement in here, that it's stated where it needs to be. So they don't have to sit there.
Yeah, it was on the back end. That's where I
And
read
Mike,
somewhere,
can you
yeah.
possibly check with Dexter and ask them where they got the stickers or how they do that, or Panora? So
And
we get
then
it going right away.
lastly, I know that a lot of times we put the little reminders about your dog license and your utility bill. Can we put something in our utility bills that say where they can obtain these so people know?
So this would be per year
Yes.
when you purchase it?
Yeah.
Or just after every calendar year?
Well,
I'm saying this because I have ATVs and I register them through the county and they expire December 31st, no matter what.
Oh, okay.
So then it's all renewed, everybody gets
Yeah,
that way, because this might be a hassle if you got 1,000 different
yeah,
dates.
yeah, that's a good.
You see what I'm saying, to try to keep track?
Right.
Is
When
it
you
saying-
just-
One lets you get it December 25th.
Right.
Christmas.
yeah. Dexter, get it so we have something for.
Because it does talk about the registration, it is like in the snow. They're not having to register, oh no, there it is, never mind.
Okay, so we need a motion on this. And there again, if we can get that right.
And it's there.
Okay, moved by Morgan,
Second,
second by Kaba. Okay, how do you vote? Morgan,
Yes.
Dolly,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes,
Renzo,
Yes,
Kaba. Yes. Okay, I need a motion for the second reading.
so moved.
Moved by Renzo,
I'll second it.
second by Patrick. How do you vote? Morgan,
Yes.
Dolly,
Yes.
Patrick,
Yes,
Renzo,
Yes,
Kaba.
yes,
I need a motion to waive the third and final reading.
so moved.
Moved by Patrick, or Morgan. Kaba.
Yeah.
Second. Second by Morgan. How do you vote? Morgan,
Yes.
Dolly,
Yes.
Patrick,
yes.
Renzo,
yes,
Kaba.
Yes.
Okay, 17 economic development, Matt.
Okay. In your pack, you may have a sub-grant agreement.
Hotel Stuart sub-grant.
Okay. This one is a preliminary one. I've been informed that this one will be updated with some updated dates, but the language in it, other than dates, should not be changing.
and this is for the Hotel Stuart.
Yes.
Has he signed his development agreement yet?
Where are we at on getting that figured out? You know?
He's currently at the moment waiting to see if his variance can get approved for allowing an apartment on the first level. And then he's going to he's working with the budget. He's come up with some unexpected expenses.
Okay, where are we on the development agreement though?
Waiting for him to sign it yet.
Okay, but, so where are we in getting him to sign that, or working
He's-
with him?
He, at the moment, he is kind of leaving it that he may bail on the whole situation if he can't make the numbers work. Be short, it's real short and simple.
That's fine. What's the what's the issue? Keeping him from
He's-
signing that?
Recently, he feels that it's a surprise to him, but he's been informed he has to have a sprinkler system put into the entire building. And he's had some structural issues that need to be addressed as well. Both of those are items that he was not expecting to, or that he did not plan for.
He didn't plan for a sprinkler system?
I guess,
I don't know how that's a surprise.
I guess my question is more is what's the issue with the development agreement? Why isn't he signing that?
He has no more issues with the development agreement.
Oh, he doesn't, okay.
No, not at the moment. No, it's just, now he's just making sure his numbers before he commits himself.
So essentially, he's wanting us to enter into another grant when
No.
he,
No, this is not from him. This is from the state. This is just,
but this is for his building.
yes, this is just part of the other, this is just a part of the upper level housing grant that's already,
So he's expecting I'm a little concerned because we're doing all this work for him and he's not doing anything on his end. He's not signing the development agreement. I don't understand it's not us, why you are doing a ton of work and he's not doing anything.
well, we're down to just asking for the mayor's signature and Debbie Durham of the Iowa Economic Development Authority to sign a document when the actual approved document comes through. We've already done all the work. We hold our part, throw the signature on the paper. The rest of it's still up to him.
And does he sign on this development agreement?
That's part of the reason this document has to be updated through the state.
I can
Yes,
answer that question.
Go ahead.
The development agreement, if he doesn't sign it by November, I won't be certifying any money for him. So as case.
Okay.
So really, I can see the frustration because we're all frustrated.
I'm frustrated that we keep spending all of this time
Yeah.
and I don't feel like he's putting forth the effort. I mean, I just,
I'm sorry, and the last time I understood was the numbers on the development agreement, why he wasn't gonna sign it. That's changed.
He
to
has
be-
issues with assessment, the minimum assessment that we have.
But now that's changed to where it's issues with a sprinkler system
Yeah.
and some other stuff.
So, in the last city council meeting, he had questions about the assessment. And then throughout the meeting, we were able to relate to him that the city has done all it could. So he agreed and he understands that the city is giving him everything we can. Right, everything, we're doing the best we can with what we have, resources available. So he agreed and accepted that. It took a city council meeting for him to see that. But now he just wants to make sure his numbers are in place.
So,
So
akin to
this-
what Christina's saying, why are we doing any more? Till he signs that development agreement, why are we worrying about whatever else he has to?
he's been dragging his feet for 2 years.
I mean, at some point you have to say, hey, we're done until you gotta make your stuff.
Okay, we can do
I
that.
mean, I'm just,
So
does that seem?
can we wait a month to go forward with this? Is it gonna hurt anything?
Let me explain this, maybe it will make it easier on you in your position. This thing is just applying for the grant. We already applied for the grant. This is just a format that we have to fill out. But if we decided to go and tell him, you have a month to sign or we're done, we can, because this grant and the grant before he got is stipulated to be used to that project only. So if he said, I'm done, we're done too. All we're losing is his time, my time on this whole thing, and your time too.
But that's valuable time.
Oh, yeah, I mean, we could be discussing other things.
Yeah, so all we're doing now is finishing up the paperwork with the grant. I would say let's finish it just in case he comes back and say, okay, I'm good, I'm gonna do it. But at the end of the day, he said, I'm not good, I'm not gonna do it. We're just gonna tell the state, we're done.
We
I
can
don't
give
done it
back the
before.
grant that we've gotten now the second time, and we had to give back the first
Yes,
time,
You were
And
around
then
with
we're gonna
that,
have
yeah.
give it back the second time, which makes, it makes me feel like we're fools, that we keep asking for this grant and then,
Yeah.
sorry, we
This is
can't.
the second time we did that grant. The first grant we got, we dropped it because of no blockers on the side. So I can see your point, I can see your frustration. It's been a lot of time on this, but what we're doing tonight is just letting the formality stuff going through.
It's
So
just, it's
this
very
here work
frustrating because
I had already
Matt's
done
spending a
a
lot of
couple of
time
months.
when he could be doing other things.
This work that was already done a couple of months ago, this is just a formality, a continuation, another document that the state had prepared.
So what do you need us to do on this? That's a grant?
Just when we get the actual grant or sub-grant with the actual dates, the updated dates, we should be able to have the mayor sign it.
So do we?
You need approval for that?
Yeah,
As we-
Yeah.
And need a
Yeah,
motion
because it
to
can
go
come
ahead.
next week and then I'll leave you.
So let's go ahead and just move.
Okay.
So that part of it, I think you have more to go over.
I mean, yeah, work's already done.
Motion, I like.
Yeah, I want to, just so we can get this done, we don't spend a whole lot of time on it since.
Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Second by Dolly, how do you vote? Morgan?
Yes.
Dolly?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
Renzo?
Yes,
Outlaw?
Yes.
And then, before I move on to, B, I put in your packet my report, monthly report.
Yep.
Does anybody have any questions on that?
I don't.
Okay.
B,
All right, then, B, Iowa State University Extension and Outreach Economic Development. A few years ago, back when I was on the city council, ISU came out and done an economic report, a visioning program. And I've asked them to come out and update that program that they've done. I can't remember the year it was performed, but it was performed a while back. So Sandra has agreed to come out. And Mike, I'm hoping you can pull rabbits out of the hat, because I've got to tell you, she's gonna have a disc card. Can you put that in the computer and put it up on the screen by chance?
Yeah.
Cool.
And we don't need to do that, because I can just talk about, yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
And I want to say, I wouldn't be doing this except my daughter-in-law tested positive recently, so I thought, just in case, you know.
You're fine.
I'm Brad Rickbeck, by the way, Sandy's setting everything up. I'm with Trees Forever. We are one of the partners, so I'm gonna let you go, Sandy.
Okay, I'm Sandy Overbreckling with Iowa State Community and Economic Development Extension and College of Design. And the Stuart went through community visioning back in 2016, and some of the projects that resulted were your entrance signage, your wayfinding signage that you see, the stamped crosswalks, and the street lighting, and those were some of the projects that came out of that process. And Matt approached me with interest in having Stuart go through the process again. And I don't know what all you guys know about community visioning, but I did bring some eye candy. And let me just say, okay, you can do that. And what community visioning is funded by Iowa DOT, so we focus on transportation enhancement planning, so it's trails, streetscapes, corridors, anything that has to do with any kind of transportation. And we partner with Trees Forever, and Brad is the program manager for Trees Forever for community visioning. And when Matt talked to me, he talked about you guys having some issues with connectivity in regard to your new development that's south of I-80. And we've worked with several communities that have had those issues. Are any of you around for the last time you guys went through visioning in 2016? Do you guys recall that at all?
Yeah.
Okay, so you know that there's not a monetary obligation of the city to us other than we ask someone in the community, whether it's a city or a volunteer organization, or, any organization in town to put up $2,000 of either cash or in kind toward building the first project. And so that money basically stays in the community, but it goes toward building the first project. And as you can see in the flyer, there's different kinds of projects that we've done. Related to connectivity, we did a highway underpass in Hudson, Iowa. And then on the back here is a lighted crosswalk where you push the button and kids can cross the highway to get to the trail in Glidden. We have some experience with those kinds of issues. I think in your 2016 proposal, there may have been like some trail work proposed. Most of what got done the last time around was the crosswalks and the curb ramps and the lighting and the wayfinding. And the way the visioning process works is, and you can jump in anytime you feel like it.
You're doing fine, Sam.
Okay, is we want a local steering committee, made up of a good cross-section of the community. We want a local government representative to be on that committee. We start our process with our annual meeting in November in Ames, and it runs roughly about a year process from November to November. The committee meets about monthly. We go through an assessment process. We do focus groups with different demographics in the community. Iowa State does research-based bioregional analysis using GIS. We look at your water table, your elevation, things like that. In some communities where there is a unique transportation issue, which Stuart kind of qualifies as that because you're right there on I-80, we might do a random sample survey. And throughout the process, you're working with someone like Brad, a Trees Forever facilitator, takes you through the process. And Iowa State hires a professional designer to create a concept plan. And many communities have used those concept plans to get funding to actually build a project. So we don't actually build anything, we do the planning part that prepares you for the building. And I did bring copies of our last year's annual report if anybody's interested in those.
Doesn't matter if they're interested.
Oh. But we're just kind of here to present this as an opportunity for you. And if you're interested, someone either from Trees Forever or Iowa State can help you work out the details of forming your committee, submitting your application. We just got funding for next year, which is why another reason we're here. We're really going to try to recruit communities for next year. And the application deadline is September 1st. That's postmarked, or you can submit online or by email. So does anyone have any questions about the program or?
And just what Sandy said, if you do want to go through the process, reach out because we'll help you work through the application. I mean, that's part of our role, so definitely would be happy to help you.
So I have a question for Matt. When you did this the last time, she said there's a $2,000. Do you remember how that was funded last year? Did that come from the city or did it come from an outside source?
No, it comes from the city, but I believe it was a project, that went towards a project.
Yeah, I call it earnest money. It stays here.
Yeah.
You guys use
okay.
it for your
Yeah.
first project. We just want to know that you're invested.
We just need a commitment
You did say it could be
in kind.
as a nonprofit.
No, it could-
doesn't have to be, doesn't have to be from the city.
Right,
Exactly.
I
right.
think that's what we've done last time.
I'm sorry.
I think that's what we've done last time, using kind.
Was in kind?
I think so, because I don't recall paying any money, but I could be.
Yeah,
wrong.
we
I have
just
to
need-
look it up.
And as far as, the application goes, we just need something in writing that says, we are going to contribute $2,000 worth of volunteer hours to build a project, or we're going to donate, equipment to build, whatever project.
$2,000 isn't all that much.
And no money
For
changes
what we
hands
get-
between
for what we
us
get from
and-
them, because what we
and-
got last time was amazing. I mean, it's nice to have those signs around town to point people on where they're going and.
Stuart's got a lot done. I'm
Yeah, you
impressed.
guys really have. You guys really have. We actually sent some students down here on a recon mission on Friday, and they took some photos for me. And I was going to show them tonight, and I thought, well, you guys all know what it looks like. So,
We've got a lot going on.
and
More is
they,
developing.
I'm sorry.
I said, and more is developing.
Mhm.
And I'm not for certain, but I think our Safe Routes to School sidewalk was the need for that, or that visioning committee there showed that there was a need for that. So that is what come out of
Yeah.
the original discussions as well, so.
Yeah, we do focus groups, and we have parents and we have kids. And we have older people, we have people who have mobility challenges, we come and talk to them and issues they have getting around town and what things they like about town, you know, and we look at their assets and barriers in terms of transportation.
So if we were interested in doing this, do you need a motion?
We would get the application, fill it out, all the stuff, and present it to you the next meeting for
Okay.
approval. Okay, we'll get back to
Did
you.
you say, maybe Brad?
Yes.
I got a question, with all the ash trees, what do you recommend now?
Oh, lots of different things, lots of different things. Now, I don't know how you feel about it, but if you could plant a few oaks, that would be awesome. But, we've been recommending hackberries and tulip trees and sycamores and Kentucky coffee trees. There's a lot of different things we have lists online, you know, you're certainly welcome to check them out. But yes, my point is diversity. Don't go back in and say, okay, we're gonna plant all the same things again. If you're gonna plant a tree in your yard, look up and down the street and say, I'm not gonna plant any of that same stuff. Now, notice I didn't say maple. Maples are wonderful trees, everybody loves them, everybody knows what they are. But there's a bug that we're concerned about over in the eastern part of the United States. And so if it gets here, its favorite plant is maple. So we kind of have put kind of the slowdown on that a little bit. You can put a few out there, but I would recommend if you're putting 40 trees in, maybe 2 or 3 of them could be maples.
Well, you come in late in our city, public works director, we're taking out 197 in the right of way right now of ash trees. And I've taken trees of my own, I plant one, if I take one out, but we're losing a lot of shade in
So
the parkings.
you guys, I'm sorry, we're jumping past.
No, you're fine. No, this is really good because this is something that you, as a steering committee, you can talk to your designer and your field coordinator who's gonna know all about trees. You can ask those questions and they can come up with a planting palette for you. They can maybe even come up with a plan for reintroducing new trees into the community. So yeah, no, that's.
Okay, I will work with man and getting the application filled out.
Yeah, you can go to that website on there, or you can go to their website, the community division website, or you can go to Trees Forever's website, you can find it.
And
Get it done.
on that eye candy handout are both our contact information.
Yes.
Yes.
So our email, phone numbers.
I don't live in Marion though, so just FYI.
Well, I didn't want to put your home address on there.
I live just outside Jefferson, so
Yeah,
my
that's
trip
it.
wasn't so far.
Yeah,
Okay.
If I don't want to get it.
Okay.
it's right, Matt, if you don't have it, it's right here on this piece of paper.
Yep, it's right on the front.
Okay, good.
Okay, thank you, Seth.
Thank
you.
And I can leave these extra things here for you guys. I can leave it with Matt
Matt will
maybe.
have it.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll leave you with the extra
Feel
things.
free to call if you want.
Thank you.
Yes.
I got your bag.
Okay, 18, hotel tax committee recommendation.
You received the recommendation in your packet. And that's kind of what the committee decide every year on the recommendation of the council. Unless you have any questions.
Is that similar to what it's been?
Yes.
Yes.
I'll make the motion.
Moved by Morgan,
Second.
second by
Oh,
Caldwell. Okay. How do you vote? Morgan?
Yeah.
Dolly?
Yes.
Patrick?
yes.
Renzo?
Yes,
Caldwell?
Yes.
Okay, Board of Adjustment appointment, I had one application, and I'm thankful people are stepping up. We got utility openings sometime, Board of Adjustment, P and Z, and Trevor Nelson applied, and I recommend that we put him on, and Ash already checked and said there's no conflict of interest with him being a city employee.
It's about.
That's a volunteer.
Yeah.
So I need a motion if you want.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second that.
Second by Patrick, how do you vote? Morgan?
Yes.
Dolly?
Yes.
Patrick?
Yes.
Renzo?
Yes,
Caldwell?
Yes.
Good luck, Trevor.
thank you, Trevor.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, I open up the public hearing,
Public forum.
the public forum, I mean. Ronnie?
I just had a comment. Jim had said something to me when we were talking about the ash trees, about maybe looking at possibly having an ordinance so we're not planting more trees in the city right away. Is that something we can look at, because they're
We
getting
already
into
have
sewer lines,
It's already in the ordinances.
that we cannot?
Yep.
Okay.
It's sort of taken care of, because when we had that big question about it, we looked it up. You're
So
not
it's in
supposed-
there that you
you're not
cannot,
supposed-
you
you're not supposed to
cannot
plant
plant.
in the easement anymore.
I just want to make sure.
Okay, Ryan?
Yeah, so, just wanna go over a couple of quick things. Just touching on RVTV, again, that's September 8th. The area was set, we got feedback from both Public Works, the Police Department, and the committee. So I guess the plan, as of right now, is set to close Second Street, between the newspaper all the way down to the funeral home, with leaving Division open.
Oh, that's
And it'll
what I
be
was gonna say.
policed.
You gotta know.
Yeah, so basically it'll be two segments with Division open, policed for foot traffic. So that's kind of where the plan is for area. We're still working on our disaster relief plan. We've been in contact with Guthrie County Adair disaster for that. We've got kind of a rough plan put together. There's still a lot of work left to do on that, and quite a bit of planning. We haven't really gotten down to the nuts and bolts of decorations or activities, events, or any of that, but we've got a pretty good start there. Our next meeting on that, so we do meetings for that every other Tuesday, 5:30 at Country Kitchen. Our next one is on the 21st, so anyone interested in attending, that's where we'll be. The Grand Marshal and Citizens of the Year were picked. So we have Jeff, Cheryl, Pat, and Stephanie Marks. Those are all the Grand Marshals. Citizens of the Year were Jim Kaczynski and Christy Lonsdale. Main Street, so kind of tying into what Sandra and Matt were talking about. So we did that a while back, and it's kind of one of the requirements that are helpful for setting up as an Iowa Main Street program. For those of you that don't know what the Iowa Main Street program is, it's a economic development kind of like group that's through the Iowa Economic Development Authority. Once you get designated of that, they kind of hold you responsible for economic development and growth. There's certain resources they provide you. They provide you with grants. So it's a very big undertaking, but it's something that has benefited numerous communities through Iowa. You go through a Main Street community, you can tell the difference on the ones that are using it and how vibrant their downtown area is. So that's something I've kind of been pushing for a few years now, is to get on the Main Street program. So doing this community walkthrough is kind of ties into that. It strengthens our application to be a Main Street community. So we, tying into that too, we're going to look at a Main Street program to ask them questions about what the program has done for them, the benefits, the drawbacks they experienced with going through the process. So we are encouraging anyone from the city council, the mayor, if you're interested in coming. We're doing that on Monday, June 27th. That'll be around a midday thing. So we'll probably leave around, I think we decided 7-ish.
Yeah.
And we'll probably be back around 1 or 2. So if anyone's interested in joining us for that, I highly recommend it. Last thing I have here is we did a couple of ribbon cuttings since the last meeting with the Stuart Appliance and Doe and Deer, which were pretty successful events. So that's what I have for now.
Any questions?
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
I have a quick question, if somebody else got something. Do we have any update on the stuff that's going on with White Pole out here? Has there been any more information?
On the road, you mean?
Yeah, that Jim and the county's engineer was doing? I didn't know if Ash had been working with them or.
The last that I know is the county's gonna do some of the repair, something small, no big. But I don't think it has been done yet, but I can check.
Ash, can we just have maybe a line item on our next agenda, at the beginning of the agenda, so Jim can address it when he's actually here?
Sure.
Maybe just give a quick update.
Yes. Because we're getting into the second half of the year.
I think he said it was gonna be this fall, so it would be
I
nice
thought
to
it
know
was
like a timetable and a date.
We'll get it on the agenda.
Or just in his department update, maybe, I mean, that would.
I'll get it on the agenda.
Okay, anybody else have anything, public forum?